everyone, I finally got around to making part 2 of my Taiwan trip, where this time around we stay at my auntie's place in Taichung, which is about an hour out of Taipei by high-speed rail. They have 3 rescue cats and very adorable and also very mischief. That night we got in quite late, so we had a home dinner. The next day, my cousin drove us out to the west side of Taichung, about an hour out by high-speed rail, to Musheng Insect Museum. In this museum, we got to go up close and personal with all the little insects. It was amazing to see the birth cycle of a butterfly. So I was a little bit squirmish in the beginning. We got to hold the caterpillars and then got to see them in their beautiful form as a butterfly. And you'll see this little caterpillar, guess where the head is? Yep, it's on the other side. And then we got to hold all sorts of insects, all these different types of stick insects. And it was a little bit scary, but they didn't move fast, which was good. I even managed to touch a tarantula, so that was definitely not what I expected to do, or expected myself to do, but somehow with the guide there, I felt a little bit braver to attempt things that I never thought I would. And then about half an hour, 40 minutes down the road, we arrived at the Sun Moon Lake area, and there's lots of wonderful coffee shops. This one we arrived where it's usually has an amazing view of the lake, but this time, as you could see, it was all foggy and we couldn't see a thing. But the food and the coffee was delicious, so definitely worth checking out if you're in the area. Then a little bit down the road there's a visitor centre, and again you would have amazing views of the lake, but this time round it was all foggy, a little bit eerie with the striking architecture, but it would have been nice to visit again when it's a little bit sunny. Later that night, we headed out to the Fengchia Night Market, and that's located near a university. So you'll see lots of students around buying, I guess, snacks and maybe their dinners. So the Fengchia Night Market opens around 6 p.m. most nights, and unless there's really bad weather, I think they still operate. This dark thing is actually an oyster mushroom covered in satay sauce. Very delicious. It was super juicy. I'd definitely go back for this one. So the Fengchia Night Market is about 45 minutes out of the high-speed rail main station, and it usually opens about 6 p.m. Till about 1 a.m. and there's plenty of shops, from retail shops to clothing to gift shops, so it's definitely worth checking out. We ordered the grass jelly milk tea, and that was surprisingly delicious. I've never had it that way. Really refreshing, especially if you're eating a lot of deep fried yummy things, so that was really nice to drink. And you'll notice some of the portions are quite big, so if you go, it's always handy to have friends to share the food with, but otherwise be sure to take a big appetite with you, because most things are delicious. I think my favorite thing was the mushroom store. It was super fresh, super juicy, and it just brought out the best flavors of a mushroom. I think we got the original, which was the salt and pepper mushrooms. We also tried the stinky tofu, which was okay, pretty good, but wasn't as good as the one we tried in Taichung, which I showed in my part 1 video. And then we ordered the strawberry tongue hulu, which are candied strawberries, and it's surprisingly good because it's a little bit sour and tart in the middle, but you've got the crunchy sugar coating. It's a really yummy treat. Snack was the sweet potato balls, and they were surprisingly good. I wasn't expecting for the texture that when you bite into it, it's a little bit chewy, crispy on the outside. It deflates a little bit when you bite into it, but you definitely want to go back for more than one. And for Australian $2.50, you could get a large portion, and we got the original flavour, so that was really nice to try on its own, but I think there's a couple of other flavours you could try as well. And then after a lot of snacking, it was time to go home. So around the neighbourhood where my auntie lives, there's a block of land where they've made it into a community veggie garden. So here you can rent a plot of land and grow your veggies. And even my auntie, sometimes if she's gone away on holidays, one of her friends will collect all the veggies, and if there's too much that they can't eat, then they'll actually sell it in a local little market. So I think one time her friend was able to exchange them for eggs. So I thought it was really nice that they can have a community, just even in the suburban, amongst all these buildings and houses. So it's still nice to see a bit of green, even though there's no real gardens around in a typical Taiwanese home. So yeah, it was fun watching my auntie be so passionate about growing all her fruits and veggies. And then after a bit of fruit and veggie picking, we dropped by her local hairdresser, which she also dropped off some lettuce leaves for them. And then our cousin took us north of Taichung, which is about 1 hour out of Taichung if you take the high-speed rail. And in this area of Sanyi, they're known for their wood carvings and all these decorative things that are just all made out of beautiful wood. And at this restaurant, we ordered so many things. It was really nice to try some of the traditional Hakka food that my dad would have grown up eating, especially like the bitter melon gourd with the pickled veggies and the flat noodles, super delicious. And then after lunch, we walked around the area. There's a couple of shops. They don't let you film inside, but it's definitely worth going in, having a look, even if you don't plan to buy anything. And then about 5 minutes down the road, we came to a museum. And this museum had so many beautiful artworks. They usually change their art themes every few months. And within the museum there's a beautiful restaurant as well. It looked really nice, but we didn't have time to have meal there, but it looks like it's worth checking out. And within the museum you can actually buy artwork there. I was fortunate enough to find a piece that I really loved and was able to take home. I loved one of the creative bronze artwork, which is of a boy on the phone and the cat looking up intently trying to get his attention. And it's just it's like an old technique but mixed in with modern world themes. So I love that juxtaposition. And then later that afternoon, we came to the theatre cafe. Within the complex, there's all these little craft stores that you can visit. There's even some little art craft classes that you can take. And I noticed there was a needle felting class that was happening. It looked really interesting. I would have loved to have made a little croissant or something. I loved all the little knickknacks that remind me of the Taiwan snacks, but most of them were sold out, so couldn't bring them home. But the next best thing were cute little memories of the store we went, so didn't leave empty-handed. And then later that evening we went out for hot pot. So hot pot in Taiwan is really popular, and as I was walking through the restaurant I was awe-struck by how big it was. There's like 2 floors, and once you sit down there's robots that serve all the dishes that you order. Mum and I really enjoyed all the vegetable hot pot that was on offer. So once you order a dish they bring out a plate of all these different veggies, and surprisingly it was enough to share really. So definitely worth going to a hot pot in your trip in Taiwan. Finally, the next day we just did some last minute packing and shopping as well. We managed to drop by a cookie bakery place called Spirited Bakery. My cousin swears they have the best cookies, so indeed they were very delicious. I probably could have eaten all the things that she bought, but my jeans were increasingly getting very tight. And then Mum and I took the long trip back to the Taipei Taoyuan International Airport, and would you believe, on our last day there was a earthquake a little bit more south of Taiwan, so that impacted our train ride to the north. A little bit worried, but all good, and we both returned back to Melbourne, Australia. As I was filming the video, I remember seeing so many signs on the floor, and this word is slow, so it reminded me to slow down in my own life and be present for the loved ones that I have time with, and try to live life a little bit more intentionally. I hope you have a wonderful week, and hopefully see you soon. Bye!